Hey everybody, I'm Josh and welcome to another episode of Just Sayin. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get the show started by asking the question I ask at the beginning of every one of my shows. What am I drinking? And on the show today, I'm drinking none other than good old Mountain Dew. Through a straw. So this week on the show, it's one of my favorite episodes to film. We're doing a throwback. I'm excited! So I'm doing my throwbacks differently now. Instead of just randomly showing you things from my generation, I'm going to pick a day, I'm going to pick a year from 1982 until we'll say 2010, and just randomly pick a year and talk about things for that year. This week we're talking about 1991. I don't know why. It just popped into my head when I went to write this episode. Next week, and I'm proud to say this again, according to our friends at holidayinsights.com, we are going to honor a holiday on March 13th, or for March 13th, that is all about me. March 13th is Smart and Sexy Day. You're welcome. So you know that's going to be a great show. You can probably expect to see things you can't unsee. Anyway. So next, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, one more thing about the throwbacks. We're going to have two of them this season. So one beginning of the season, one mid-end of the season. And I don't know what year yet. 2004. It'll probably not be that when I go to actually write it, because I'll forget I said that. Anyway, and I have no idea where that laugh came from. Oh, anyway. Last week I premiered something here during my host chat segment called This Week, and I just more or less told you about things that happened during the week in my life or in the news, and I realized that stuff happened last week, so it really shouldn't be in a bit called This Week. So now we're going to bring you the rundown. Let's get it started off with this douchebag, congressman. His name's Kevin McCarthy. He is the House Republican Majority Leader. He thought it would be a worthwhile idea to give more than 16,000 hours of unseen January 6th footage that has only been seen by the January 6th committee to Tucker Carlson of Fox News. Why this was a brilliant idea, I have no clue. It'd be like me asking the police officer for videotape of a murder happening and he giving it to me. It's an investigation. It's evidence. Now, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, so please don't kick my episode off the platform if this is wrong. But I have heard that Tucker Carlson, is going to do a special on how the Capitol Police and the security were not properly trained for that day. And before I get even more heated about that topic, we're going to go ahead and move on. And first I pissed you off, now I'm going to make you cry. The Biebs canceling his World Justice Tour because of mental and physical illness. He has recently been I don't know how recent, but he's been diagnosed with something like Lyme disease. I can't remember what it's called. But he does have depression. He's had that for a couple of years. And he's been married for a few years. Here's my thought. It's my show. I'm going to say what I want. Haley Baldwin is a bitch. I think their whole marriage is a sham. I noticed that he was not diagnosed with depression until after they got married. I think deep down, he still wants to be with Selena, and I think Selena still wants to be with him, and I think they're going to end up together eventually. That's my thoughts. So if you're watching this, Biebs, she loves you too. Selena, he wants you. Here's the next story. Now, if this one doesn't make you chuckle, I don't know what will. The Louisville Cardinal mascot, which is a dog, and I don't quite understand that. But anyway, decided he wanted to go out onto the basketball court and take a crap. So there's that. Not sure if the game is in progress or if they were like during halftime or whatever, but that's kind of funny. Now, for this next story, I had an update for you. But now it's a different update. This is Alex Murdaugh. Remember me talking about him last week, where he allegedly killed his wife, allegedly killed his wife and 22-year-old son, Paul. Yeah. My first update was that both sides rested, they gave their closing arguments, and it was in the hands of the jury. And I even, in a stupid little bit, don't know what I did with it now, I think I threw it away, had written down my prediction on how long it would take the jury to deliberate. I think I put 2 days. Less than 3 hours after the judge gave them their orders, they were done. They didn't even ask for dinner. They weren't even in there that long. The jury foreperson was interviewed, and the reporter who interviewed him was saying how he said during the interview that once they started going around the table giving what their opinion on it, they knew it wasn't going to be a long deliberation. They didn't ask for anything to be seen again. They didn't ask for anything. It was done in less than 3 hours. However, he has already started an appeal because supposedly something came out during the trial that shouldn't have come out, and he is saying that it is because of that the jury immediately assumed that he was guilty from once they found that out. Or maybe it's the rest of the evidence that points to you being the killer. Either or. Anyway, he's guilty. But yes, he's already appealing it. Here's the next story. Now, this one I question. And I'll tell you why after I tell you the story. So, picture it. You're in high school, you meet the love of your life, you get married shortly after high school, and keep in mind this is a story. Well, obviously it's a story. I don't know if it's true or not. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's true or not. So you meet in high school, get married shortly after high school, you live happily ever after for 30 years. However, every Tuesday night at midnight, she would leave the house and not come back till the next day. And not remember what happened the week before. So, one day, the husband gets a call that his wife was in a horrible, tragic accident. He rushes to the hospital only to find his wife's twin sister, identical twin sister, who had been switching places with her every Tuesday night at midnight. How did you not know? How did you not ask your wife if she needed to see a doctor because she didn't remember the week before? Or how did you... I mean, I know you're identical twins, but that doesn't mean you have the same mannerisms. It doesn't mean you have the same sex fetishes or whatever. I mean, I don't know if they had children, but if they did, how would you not know that 1 week your wife was pregnant, 1 week she wasn't? I don't get it. And if you were the wife, one of them, the initial wife, I guess, how would you not feel jealous of your sister being with your husband? I don't know. Comment below. Let me know if you think that story's true. It wasn't a reliable source that I heard it from, but it was, a news outlet that I get my news from. Anyway. So, if you guys don't mind, I was really busy this week. I really didn't have a chance to check any of my show emails. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to do the sketch that I like to call viewer emails. I know it took me forever to come up with that name. Here we go. What is my favorite episode I filmed so far? I would have to say Season 4, Episode 3. I'm sorry, Season 4, Episode 1. Because that is when I actually dropped the old concept of the show and kind of took my show in the other direction, and became more proud of my show. And I promote it now, I talk about it, and yeah, I would have to say that's kind of when I came to light and started embracing the show as my own instead of what I initially was going to take the concept with. Would I do another show with that old concept? Absolutely. absolutely. But yeah. I like the way this went better, and that was the first time that I had fun with it. You always kid Producer Man, and just curious if he is actually that bad. No, he's actually an amazing guy. As I mentioned, when my friend Mitchell died, he was there. He came over and slapped me across the face. And then when my mom got really sick the week before she passed, and we couldn't get a hold of my family up in Alaska, from that night until about 3 weeks after the funeral, and keep in mind the funeral was 2 weeks after that point, because she died. Her funeral was literally a week to the day that she died, because there was 4 other deaths in the town I live in that week. Anyway, and so yeah, it was. He was here for me for about 5 weeks, with his own family and his full-time job, and I mean he will drop anything to help anyone who needs help. Here's the next one. Love Taser in the Taser Versus video. I think she's going to be a star. Oh, thank you. If you guys didn't catch on my TikTok, which I will give you at the end of the show, I posted the first Taser Versus video, Taser versus the Cookie in the Cage. So please check it out. It's hilarious. What is the process of coming up with a season of the show? It's really hard to answer that question in a short amount of time. Basically, what I do is I sit down and I look at a calendar and I think, okay, this holiday, I want to cover. So let's start counting from there. And I count out 15 episodes. And then I know that there's holidays like July 4th or Mother's Day or Father's Day, or like my month series of Dating 101, my birthday month, and Back to School month. All of those. I totally forgot what I was saying. I kind of know when I want those to happen within the show and kind of base it on that. And if I don't have a holiday that I'm talking about, that's when I go to holidayinsights.com and I try to find ones like Smart and Sexy Day that are just going to catch your ear and where I know I can find good content. So, do I regret, and finally here, do I not regret not having a co-host? What about Producer Man? I have permission to say this. The reason he had to stop his podcast, the reason he's not on the show physically, is because of his job. He can't. And so, would I do a show with Producer Man? Absolutely. Would I do a show with a co-host? Absolutely. Does it have to be Producer Man? No. But would I bring a co-host on this show? Probably not. I've gotten so much into my groove, into the way I want this show to be, that I think bringing someone on would impede. Is that the right way? Would impede? Am I using it right? That's going to be is that the right way to use that word of the week? Impede? To step on my territory, if you will, because I literally peed around my desk. I didn't. Anyway, thanks for the emails. If you guys have a question or something you want to share, please be sure to email it to me at shittalkin20@gmail.com. Without further ado, let's turn back the time machines to 1991 and take a look at some toys from back in my day. That's right, everybody. These were some hot toys back in my day. So without further ado, here we go. This first one terrified me. I don't know why, but I loved the game. It's the good old game of perfection. Basically, you have these shapes. You need to put them in their spots. All while I think it's 45-second timer is going. And when the timer goes off, the board pops up and all the pieces go flying and you lose them. And then by the time you throw it away, you've got one and you can beat it every time. I've never beat it. I've never beat it. Moving on. We're just going to stop right there, because that just came out totally wrong. Anyway, The next game, all the kids love is Hungry Hungry Hippos, but you only play it a few times before you realize that all the marbles are gone. Because, well, you're kids, and what else are you going to do with a little tiny hard ball? Throw it at somebody. Here's the next one. I believe this was called something about crocodile and a dentist. Basically, it's got those bottom row of teeth, and you would take turns either pulling the tooth out or pushing the tooth down. And if the jaw clamped down on you, you were out. That was really it. But hey, that was the technology we had back then. That was cool technology then. And it's not even technology. This next one, I can't even remember what it was called. Color Me Bear or something like that. Basically, it was made out of material like denim. And it came with a special marker that you could use to write on the bear, and then you could put it in the washing machine and it'd come out clean and no writing on it. Again, we had nothing else, people. We didn't have tablets. And if we did, it was a Tylenol. Here's the next one, and every teenager had one of these. A Magic 8 Ball. That's right, it was the World of Fortune. Not wheel, world of fortune telling. Basically, it's this ball with an 8 on the top, and it's got blue dyed water liquidy stuff in it with a dodecahedron die that when you ask it a question and shake it up and flip it over, it will reveal to you your future. It more or less said yes, no, ask again later, chances looking good, or something like that. You better believe it. Here's the next one, and I could sit and nerd out on this all day long. It's Power Rangers! I love the original Power Rangers. Dwight Trang and Jason David Frank, God rest their souls. I know they're up there fighting the bad guys up there. But anyway, yeah, I was a big Power Ranger nerd. I only liked the first couple seasons. It was so popular that we got in trouble at school for play fighting. And there was like 3 bad guys because it was anybody that joined late. Because we already had like 7 Green Rangers, no Blue Rangers, and like 4 red ones. And that's it. And because those were the only cool ones, really. And if you didn't want to be one of them, you were out or had to be a bad guy. Anyway, yeah, we were nerds. But yeah, so it was, I mean, Power Rangers were really big. It was live action from China or Japan or something, I don't know. This is Baby All Gone. This was a baby doll that you put fake food, obviously, fake food on the spoon, and this food disappears like the baby ate it. It was big deal back then. It was a big deal back then. Where did it go? She ate it! This next one I've never really played. I've never actually played it. It's called Mall Madness. And basically, the board is a mall, and you have a list of things that you need to get, and you can only spend so much money, or the person that spends the least, or something, I don't know, after getting all their items. Yeah. But I think was one of the first games that came with a credit card. Instead of dollar bills, you swiped a card. That's right. We were moving up in the world. Here's the next one. This was an easy bake oven. You know, where your child learns to bake with a nightlight light bulb that takes 4 hours to cook a cake and it's still doughy in the middle and gets you salmonella because you're using real ingredients. Yeah, that kind of cake. It was kind of like the creepy crawlers that I mentioned a while back, but it was with food. Anyway. I never had one because, well, those were for girl toys back in the day. You had girl toys and boy toys. And this one was a boy toy because it was called the Talk Boy. And then they came out with a pink one called the Talk Girl. But it was basically a voice recorder with a cassette tape, and you could listen to things or record notes or whatever. It was in the movie Home Alone 2, Lost to New York. and was supposed to be really popular. I never had one because it was just a voice recorder. Anyway. Here's the next topic today. So I thought I'd take a look at the best movies of 1991 and put them in a pile of... put them into a list and throw them into the segment, The 10. That is right. This is according to IMDb.com, the top 10 movies of 1991. First up, number 10, The Addams Family. It starred Angelica Houston, Raul Julia, Christopher Lloyd, and Christina Ricci. As the plot was that con artists planned to fleece an eccentric family using an accomplice who claims to be their long-lost uncle. So, there's that for you. Number 9 is not that one. That one's number 9. It's called Point Break. Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Gary Busey, an FBI agent goes undercover to catch a gang of surfers who may be bank robbers. This one I never heard about, but it starred Bruce Willis, so I'm surprised I didn't. It's called Hudson Hawk. It starred Bruce Willis and Sandra Bernhardt. David Caruso. It was about a cat burglar who was forced to steal a Da Vinci works of art for in order to take over the world. I don't remember it. Maybe it was because the plot was horrible. I don't know. The Last Boy Scout comes in at number 7. Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. Now, Bruce Willis back in the day was the action hero the action star of the 90s. The Last Boy Scout starred Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans, Halle Berry. A private detective's protected female witness is murdered, prompting him and his victim's boyfriend to investigate the crime that leads to corrupt political and a corrupt politician and a crooked football team owner. If I can read, maybe you could understand what it's about. Now, this one I think has been remade since, The Rocketeer. It initially starred Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Alan Arkin. It was about a young pilot who stumbled across a prototype jetpack and allowed him to become a high-flying masked superhero. Anyway. The next one, number 5, is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And I will say Kevin Costner, not to me, but Kevin Costner back in the day was the heartthrob of rom-coms. And this movie starred him, Morgan Freeman, Christian Slater, Alan Rickman, who played Snape. Robin Hood decides to fight as an outlaw when he's faced with the tyranny of the Sheriff of Nottingham. Fun fact. Number 4, Hook. Starred Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Maggie Smith. When Captain James Hook kidnaps his children, an adult Peter Pan must return to Neverland and reclaim his youthful spirit in order to challenge his old enemy. Never saw it. Number 3, What About Bob? Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss, a successful psychotherapist, loses his mind after one of his most dependent patients, an OCD neurotic, tracks him down during his family vacation. Number 2, and this was the freaky movie of the year, The Silence of the Lambs. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. If you haven't seen it, go see it. A young FBI cadet must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims. And the number 1 movie from 1991, according to IMDb.com, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, a cyborg identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor, must now protect her 10-year-old son from an even more advanced and powerful cyborg. So yeah, there's that. So next we're going to talk about something that's really close to my heart, because the other day Producer Man and I had an argument. What happened was we were working on the show and we were taking a break, and so we decided to compare the sizes of our... I'm sorry, everybody. but I think I smell smoke, which can only mean one thing. It's time to throw back to the first year of the show and do You Burnt! That's right. I ran out of content. Anyway, 1991 was kind of boring. Anyway, first up, here we go. Hold on tight. Cologne. Ah, yes. The official smell of the stepdad who asks if the waitress is on the menu. If you're so good and everybody wants it, why do they ambush you outside of a Macy's elevator like they're pepper spraying a mugger? Also, why is it impossible to wear the right amount of you? There are only 2 amounts of cologne. None or olfactory war crime. Here's the best way to put on cologne. Spray some in the air and walk the other direction. Cologne, I'd say you're the worst musk. I would say you're the worst musk, but come on. Sideburn Elon. Also, stop trying to fancy yourself up by using the names like Drakkar Noir. It sounds like something a Targaryen would yell during sex. Also, Drakkar Noir, could you even be harder to say? Hey, Cologne, smell you later. You burnt. Pickleball. Are you too rich for ping pong and too out of shape for tennis? Try pickleball. My only question is, why did they name it pickleball? Was Worst Minton already taken? Are we allowed to bet on pickleball? Because I have 2-to-1 odds that Gary pops his knee. I'm sorry, pops a kneecap. Also, pickleball, could you be any louder? I barely hit you over the net, and it sounded like Aaron Judge knocking one out of the park. And one more thing, pickleball. I actually really like you. My writers for the show don't realize that I am too rich for ping pong, and I am too out of shape for tennis. Not to mention, I was the pickleball champion my sophomore, junior, and senior year. So, there's that. Pickleball! Enough of your racket. You burn. First day of school photos. I know it seems a little late to be doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. I understand doing it for kindergarten and first grade, but why are you making your 12-year-old child sit in front of a camera holding up a sign that says first day of 6th grade? They look like hostages holding the newspaper to prove they're still alive. The only difference is the hostages aren't going through the most awkward stage of puberty that will now be memorialized forever. First day of school photos. You better look at the camera and say, you burnt. Single-ply toilet paper. Now, I'm kind of a risk taker, but there's some risks best not taken. There's no way that I'm going into an active crime scene without some backup. Even the plot of Avatar wasn't this thin. Can you at least say on the package how many times I'm supposed to fold you? I don't think I should be learning origami mid-dump. Also, why are you exclusively in restaurants that need more than single-ply toilet paper? If even one item on your menu says it's spicy, you should be legally required to supply thicker-ply toilet paper. Single-ply toilet paper, you are the worst role since Elizabeth Berkley in Showgirls, Sideburn Showgirls. Single-ply toilet paper, someone must have lit a match, because you burnt. Sports drinks. You're not science. No one had even heard of electrolytes until your commercial started telling us that we needed them. Also, stop pretending you're what I need after an intense workout session. If your ads were honest, they wouldn't show us workout warriors. They would show us someone with a horrible hangover in the fetal position holding an egg, bacon, and cheese croissant. Can you tell me what the problem is with water when it comes to hydration? I'm sorry water doesn't have a flashy name like Tidal Blast or Dickhead Grape. With that said, vitamin water? You're not water. You're just Kool-Aid for adults. Gatorade. I'm sorry. Hey, sports drinks. Looks to me like you're good on vitamin D because you burnt. Hey, that one machine at the gym. What are you for? You're like DJ Khaled. You're everywhere and I have no idea what you do. You're in the cardio section, but I saw someone lifting you the other day, so I'm hella confused. I actually drank a sports drink staring at you because I didn't know what else to do. Also, why does the gym have like 5 of you? I've never seen more than one of you being used at a time. The other ones are just standing around like the other members of Maroon 5. Hey, that one machine at the gym, go to hell, you burnt. Flowers. Ah, yes. The gift that says, I don't know what you like and I really don't care. Is there not a better metaphor for romance than something that you get when it's beautiful and smells lovely and then quickly dies? Why are flowers considered romantic? Flowers, you better put some water in your vase because you're burnt. February. Yes, that's right. The Danny DeVito of months. They say March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb, but February comes in like an asshole and leaves that same exact asshole. Now, can we talk about the spelling? I understand it's French. I understand they have silent R's. But do you have to put it right in the middle? Shouldn't it be at the end where no one notices? You know, like the creepy guy at the gay bar that's staring at the straight hot guys. Oh, wait. That's me. Sideburn me. February. I may be freezing, but you... yeah, burnt. Puxatawny Phil. So you saw your shadow in another 6 weeks of winter. Fun fact, I knew that already because my calendar told me. I don't need a fancy rat to tell me that it's still going to be winter on February 3rd. Now, can we talk about where this takes place? Because it all happens in a town called Gobbler's Knob, which sounds like the gay club where I stand at the corner of the bar and stare at all the straight guys. Double burn me. Here's something to pop your bubble to the residents of Gobbler's Knob. Only 364 more days until anyone gives a rat's ass about you. Puxatawny Phil, better go back in your hole, cuz you burnt. Bar stools. Hey, the restaurant's crowded. You want to sit at the bar? Sure, let me hop up in this adult height chair. I'll just hang my coat on the back of my... oh, wait. I don't have a back of my chair. So I'll have to put it on my seat, sit on it, get it all butt smelly, not to mention the bottom of the sleeves will be dirty because they're dragging on the ground. Also, should we really be sitting this high up after slamming back shots of tequila? It's just farther to fall to the ground. Bar stools, the best thing you're for is kindling because you burnt. Producer man, that's right, you didn't think you'd get away that easily on your birthday week, did ya? No, happy birthday, buddy. Welcome to the 40 and up club. And let me just tell you, I'm 40 and going to be single, and everyone thinks I'm in my 80s when I'm on dating profiles. So that's just news, word of the wise if she ever leaves you, but not because you're in the 40s, not because you're in your 40s, but because you're you. All jokes aside, producer man, you are amazing. You're one of my best friends. I don't know what I would have done during my mom's passing without you. You are probably the most human I know. And you will drop whatever you do to make sure that whatever you're doing to make sure you're helping someone else. So thank you. That is why you're this week's Unburnable. Happy birthday, buddy. That will do it for the show. Oh no. Oh no! That sound means we're out of time, not just for the segment, but for the show. So if there's something you think you should see and share on the show, be sure to send it to me. shittalking20@gmail.com. There is my TikTok. Be sure to check it out. My first Taser Versus video was posted. And there's my Twitter. I really don't use it anymore because of the new owner. Double burn side Elon Musk. But there it is. Anyway. Also, if you have a second, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment below, and get the notifications anytime I post one of my episodes. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Doing a burnt really knocks me out of breath. So be sure to join me next week when we honor me on Smart and Sexy Day, March 13th, which I think is before the show posts. So be sure to celebrate it, March 13th, Smart and Sexy Day. Until next week, everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy, stop the hate. And until then, that's all I'm saying.